Welcome, guys. Welcome. Um, so today marks one of the last days. Okay, let me turn this light on so you can see me better. Alright, we're good. Alright, so today marks one of the last days we are recording the Basics Season 1 of Humorous Bootcamp. This is making history. Um, so Season 2 is going to be all about fighting. There's so many different correlations and things that contribute to how good of a fighter you are. It's definitely something that you guys need to watch. Season 2 is going to be pretty much the main season that you guys really need to pay attention to and really start taking notes. Something I haven't mentioned is that you guys should be taking notes on everything I'm talking about and engraving it into your brain so that when you play, you can start to contribute the things that I'm saying into your gameplay and overall makes you a better player. So, today's episode is rotating, and so what is rotating? Rotating is a way to move from circle to circle without getting pressured while moving. And so really there's only three ways of rotating. One being dead side, which I'll get to in a second, and then second being mobility, and then third being tunneling. So dead side is basically the side of zone. So really, say for example, this is the zone, right? On the left side, your guys is right. On your guys' right side, you have fighting, right? And just say it's a big build fight. And then on the other side of the zone, on your guys' left, is nothing. There's like maybe a canyon that goes down under. That is dead side. This is the side that nobody's on that gives you a good rotating advantage to rotate in the next zone. Because why would you rotate on this side where everybody's at when you can rotate on this side where nobody's at and you won't get pressured getting into zone, right? And so dead side also contributes to low ground. It's not the same thing, right? So I'll give you an example, right? So say there's fighting everywhere. You can't escape it. What's the best route? You're going to play low ground. And so low ground, you basically kind of just want to, you can even sprint and only build when you get shot, although you might get pushed. It's very risky, but I mean, usually you rotate dead side when you're in sticky situations, especially late rotating, which I'll get into in a little bit. But low ground is perfect, especially if your duo is knocked and it's just you. Kind of camping low ground, tunneling low ground is perfect. Something I want to get into also is mobility. This season for Chapter 7, Season 1, is wingsuits, which they're alright for rotating, but definitely not late game. That's not something you play late game, is wingsuits. Usually you drop those for heals late game. But wingsuits are our mobility. We did have shockwaves, but they are no longer in the game. So I believe we have launch pads, but it's a lot easier to get hit when you launch pad rather than wingsuiting. So I would still pick up that wingsuit. Don't pick up launch pads. We also have this stealth thing. It's like a stealth splash, but there's really no point in using that because there's still an outline on the person. So either way, they're still going to see you. So rock wingsuits. Wingsuits are good mobility, especially towards mid-late game when you need to rotate the zone, but you don't have a dead side when everybody's fighting, or people are tunneling and you want to late rotate and then wingsuit in, because running in zone in late game is going to get you killed or waste all of your mats, and then you have to rely on trying to find a refresh late game. And then lastly is tunneling, which is just building boxes around you and keep going into a big old tunnel. Pretty self-explanatory. If you aren't familiar with what tunneling is, it's pretty, like I said, self-explanatory. You're just tunneling with your walls into zone. Especially, this is used for when you're closer to zone or late game. You'll notice if you watch pros, everybody's tunneling towards zones because zones don't move particularly that far in late game. Unless if you get a hard pull, usually everybody's just running on their feet because the wingsuits bounce you a little bit too high up in the air and they're hard to control without taking zone damage or anything like that. So usually a lot of people rotate either by playing risky and running or tarping, which is tunneling. So now I want to talk about early versus late rotating. So early rotating is good when you need good position to trap people out of zone. So a lot of people play this way, especially in comp. Always early rotating. You want to stay ahead of the game, stay ahead of everybody, and call dibs on a spot that will give you a significant edge rather than sitting low ground. So, like, for example, one of the last zones you have, say, like, this is flat, and then there is, like, one hill right here. Obviously, you're going to want to land on that hill and then tarp above and take height. From height, you can spray, you can drop down, and one of your teammates plays sacrifice, and you go off for heal off. Like, there's so many things you can do once you have high ground, because you basically have an edge over everybody. You have control of the late game. You get to do whatever you want to do. So that is good for early rotating, is you want to have that significant edge in the landscape to be able to win the game. And late rotating is pretty much the opposite. Late rotating is usually good for when you're not fully looted or your teammate is down and you're at a significant disadvantage in the end game. Late rotating is good for, like waiting for people to strike and fight, and waiting for people to rotate, so then you're not as focused as much. So, like, for example, say we're mid-game and zone pulls and everybody's wingsuiting. I would be the one to wingsuit last or just after somebody else wingsuited, so that I am able to get out. Or another good advantage is if somebody's wingsuiting, now you can play low ground because everybody's focused on in the air, and so when they're focused in the air, you go low ground and you go unnoticed. You kind of catching my drift here. Oh, I had a burp and I thought I was going to puke. Thank God I didn't do that on camera. But, okay. So, late rotating is just good when, you're in kind of sticky situations and you need to find a way out. Usually, when you late rotate, usually you're going dead side, and if dead side's not available, you're playing low ground. So, when you're rotating, look for either good hiding spots, which is like low ground, you box up under low ground, or maybe you're hiding in a building, and you're playing placement, or you can land on the best high ground that gives you the most edge. Like I said, just depending on if you're early or late rotating, you can still get that competitive edge if nobody takes up or nobody calls dibs on that high ground, and maybe you get lucky and you pull high ground, and then you have control of the whole end game. So really, rotating is pretty self-explanatory. It's a skill that you learn the more you play competitive, especially you learn from zero build, especially because zero build helps you practice rotating without mats, and rotating with mobility, and rotating with the natural props that are in the game, so like trees and rocks and bushes and buildings, and hiding in there, especially when you have no mats. So that's really good for rotating. Another good thing for rotating endgame, like late game, is infinite endgame, which is something I will get into in Season 2 when we work on fighting. This is just kind of the basics, so I'm just kind of briefly going over things that you need to learn before you start going into fighting basics. But really, this is all I have for this episode. Just kind of get used to rotating in the games, get used to thinking in your head, like, alright, what do I have right now? What competitive advantages do I have right now to win fights? Do I third party? Do I push? Do I play low ground? Do I rotate dead side and get first dibs on a mountain? And that's something that you have to look at and be aware of your surroundings. So, like, I know there's a lot of mountains at Lethal Lab, especially when late games are Lethal Lab. There are so many little mountains you can sit on top of. There's so many bushes all over the place you can sit in. You just have to know the bush locations. You have to know where the mountains are. And that's really all I have for today. Just really your homework for today is just be confident in your rotating skills. I want you to be confident with rotating without getting pressured, which is the main idea for getting rotation. That's really all I have to say. I'll see you guys in Season 2. Hopefully this isn't the last episode of the basics, but when I'm taking notes, this is really the only thing I can think of that's not fighting. So I'm going to have fighting, and then I'm gonna have building and mechanics, and then maybe editing as season 4. I'm not really sure how this is gonna go, but if this is the last episode, see you guys in season 2. If this is not, then see you guys in the next episode. Peace.